just like that, it's time for our weekly roundup of all the things Lady just ain't gonna do this week. Number 1, we, the Black delegation, would like to trade Hershel Walker and Kanye West for some Target gift cards and a few pieces of peppermint candy. Y'all, sometimes it's just too much. The level of chicanery and nonsense that Hershel and Kanye are giving us this week is just, well, it's indicative of how absolutely fraudulent the Republican Party is right now. Anywho, in the news this week, Kanye West goes off on a whole range of stupid-ass rants about Jewish people, Black Lives Matter, and other shit in his latest attempt to be accepted and loved by white people who actually don't give any fucks about him. We are back with the free thinker nonsense, and if I'm being honest, I just don't know that I can take this each and every election cycle. Shout out to Yassine Bey, aka Mos Def, for his immediate response to Kanye's dumbass White Lives Matter fashion statement. The Black delegation thanks you for White Lies Matter and hopes that one of these days we will stop giving Kanye a microphone and start giving him some meds. Kanye really is like the Black Britney Spears having a very public meltdown for the last 2 years. This isn't Kanye being prolific. This is Kanye without the help he needs, but clearly doesn't want. Hershel Walker, Republican U.S. Senate candidate for the state of Georgia, was caught this week in a whole bunch of bullshit-ass lies related to his stances on abortion. I mean, apparently the motto of the party and their entire fucking crew is do what we say and not what we do. Hershel Walker is on record saying that he opposes abortion in all scenarios, except when it comes to the women he's fucking. And in these cases, it's abortions in all scenarios. Okay, yeah. And just like Kanye, Hershel Walker is a lion-ass liar. Now, when a woman came out with receipts that Walker paid for her abortion, even sent her a fucking get well card, he lied and said it wasn't him. Now, it turns out she has another child by his ass who he hasn't claimed, but the child is most certainly his. And then on top of that, his child that he does claim is running all over these internet streets talking about how his dad beat his mom and that he'd been fucking hella women for hella years and all this and all that. And all we can do is shake our heads at the complete chicanery that are these two human beings. And as I said earlier, the Black delegation met and determined that we will trade Kanye and Hershel for a gift card from Target and actually, maybe some of those Ferrero Rocher chocolates with the nuts. We love those things, and we prefer those kind of nuts to these ones. I cracked my fucking self up. Here's what we want more of this week, though. Number 1, and the only thing on this list, well, actually, just number 1, executive orders on marijuana. Okay, so there was a lot of excitement and hype about President Biden's executive order on marijuana this week. And we gonna help you understand what it do and what it don't do. So the news is that President Biden pardoned some folks who were convicted of a federal marijuana offense. He also encouraged states to follow suit. The president also asked the Department of Health and Human Services to review the schedule classification of marijuana. Now, right now, marijuana is scheduled as like a Schedule 1 drug, akin to heroin. Revising the scheduling of marijuana could open it up to decriminalizing marijuana at the federal level, which would literally be a game changer, especially as it relates to the war on drugs that has targeted Black and brown communities since the motherfucking 1980s. Now, y'all know Lady believes in celebrating the victories and keeping it a fucking buck about the things that it does do and the things that it don't do. So here's the celebration. This is an important first step from the Biden administration. This order will impact about 6,500 people, which isn't nothing. It isn't, however, everybody. This order does not apply to people who are undocumented, which is fucking whack because according to the data, 72% of the people who were federal offenders with a marijuana charge between 2015 and 2021 were not citizens. Now, the data doesn't distinguish between non-citizens who were documented, non-citizens who were undocumented, or naturalized. However, the order applies to simple marijuana possession, but it does not apply to those who have small amounts of marijuana on federal land. Now, Biden doesn't have the power to pardon people who have state charges. That's outside of his power and resides with the governors of states. Now, if governors agreed to do that shit, That would amount to hundreds of thousands of people receiving pardons. In 2018, for example, there were 700,000 people arrested for marijuana. And even though all of those arrests do not lead to charges, it gives you a sense of the possibility of pardons at the state level. The war on drugs has all but decimated our communities. This is an important first step, but we need some additional action to make the impact that it could. President Biden, I would like to think, is showing some important leadership here, but what's also real and true is that midterms are less than 30 days away. So whatever will appeal to voters, honey, is what they finna do. Especially young Black voters, and particularly young Black men, some of which may not have voted otherwise. I'm here for it. No, it's not enough, but it's an important step forward. And if we can hold the House and the Senate, we might even see some more action here. Not without your input and pressure, but this is why we fucking vote. Keep pushing for that schedule reclassification so marijuana isn't treated the same as heroin. And for the love of all things holy, vote in your governor's race, which is, for some of you, it's like in less than 30 days, okay? Voting matters, governors matter, you matter, let's do this. Other things Lady loves this week is early voting. I mean, we talked about it for a hot second, but early voting starts next week in many states across the country. Skip the lines and vote early if you can. And then spend the time you might have had spent standing in line to take other people to the polls. It's too close not to push as hard as fucking possible. So let's fucking go. We will be back next week with a fresh new Ladies Love Notes. I don't know, I got something rattling around in my head about tips for rebound relationships if you must be in one. But I need more time. So stay tuned, and as always, send us your questions on relationships, dating, and situationships.